Lawmakers left Albany. The budget is still in limbo, and a proposed mosque near Ground Zero is becoming a major political hot potato. We're also about to get a glimpse of how much money the candidates running for statewide office and legislative office have in their coffers. One political newcomer has already made that figure public. He is sitting on a significant sum. Not to mention that mess Eric Schneiderman now needs to clean up. Joining me now to break down all of these latest headlines from the Capitol and the campaign, our resident insiders are here, veterans of the New York political scene who join us each week to share their unique perspectives. Joining us in studio tonight is Bruce Jory. He served as senior advisor to 2 former Democratic governors and is now with Corning Place Consulting, also an adjunct professor of political science at UAlbany. Dave Catalfamo is joining us remotely from New York City. He served as communications director under former Governor George Pataki. He is now a partner at Capital Public Strategies. Gentlemen, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Terrific.
Good. So let's start with you, Bruce, because you have a little bit of skin in this game in the Attorney General's race. You have a candidate, Sean Coffey. So we'll give you first crack at the Eric Schneiderman hit-and-run story.
I'm going to try not to pile on. What it is it was a hit-and-run accident. Senator Schneiderman was not the driver, but they did leave. They did not reach out to the owner of the car that they hit. Incidentally, an employee of your sister station, New York
really
One.
Unfortunate circumstances.
The question here is how he reacts. The initial report that came out of your New York One's news director, Bob Hart, was that the senator said he chastised the staff person. He didn't think it was that significant an accident. I don't think that's the way to handle it, per se. I think it ought to be, if he handles it well and comes across as remorseful, it'll go away. But there is this thing that it's a scene of the accident thing. Attorney General should know the law. Controllers should know how to count. But I think Eric is a bright guy, and he'll bounce back from this.
Well, 2 things, though, before we get to Dave. One is that his campaign has called it outrageous for the New York One to characterize this as hit and run. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think Carl McCall said it best. It was a what was his phrase?
Lapse of judgment.
A significant lapse in judgment. If by hit and run you mean a moving vehicular incident, it was not that.
That you leave the scene
right,
of.
but it is leaving the scene,
right.
and when somebody stopped and got the license plate, the staffer and he should have known better.
So, David, it's interesting also, brings to mind, remember the incident of the former New York Police Commissioner, New York City Police Commissioner, who hit a pregnant woman, I mean, and then drove away. I mean, this isn't nearly that, although he wasn't running for office at the time.
Right.
What is your immediate response?
Look, if the facts as I've read them and they've been presented are true, then I think he's got a serious problem. Leaving the scene of an accident, whether he was the driver or not, I mean, he should know better. And there is no excuse for it. And instead of being outraged, no matter what the level of damage or no matter what the actual details of the incident are, they should be looking for forgiveness and remorse. Again, if the facts as they're presented are correct, he's got a serious problem, and I don't know that given the climate in Albany and given the climate around the state with respect to voters and demanding a higher standard, I think that this could be very destructive for him.
But couldn't it just end up being a one-day story? I mean, if none of the we just are hearing from Bruce right now, although it's very fresh, obviously he's working for Sean Coffey. If none of the opponents jump on, then this thing just kind of goes away. Unless somebody presses the issue very hard, it's a judgment call, it was a bad judgment call, and then it just sort of dies. Unless it catches fire, in which case he's got a big problem.
But Liz, isn't that what we elect people to do, to exercise their judgment? And the fact of the matter is that if I were advising a candidate in this race, I would tell them to basically stand away and let the facts unfold and make sure that we understand all the details and ensure that what we've read and what we understand is true. But the reality is it really doesn't have anything to do with the other candidates. It has everything to do with his own actions. And if those actions are true, and if he did in fact leave the scene of an accident, then he's got a very, very serious problem with his judgment and with his credibility and with his ethics and with the standard that he might set in his office.
Well, we'll have to see how this one plays out because it is very fresh. But let's move on to a different candidate, Harry Wilson. He is a Republican. Neither of you, you're not advising Harry Wilson, are you, Dave?
No.
No. Okay. So now this is all
Clearly, I'm not.
Fair game. No, you're a Democrat. No. Okay. So no, not at all. But although there are Democrats
Yes,
who have
there
said
is.
that they think he's quite an interesting candidate. But he actually reported today that he has raised, this is the first time we've seen any numbers,
yes.
$1.13 million. More interestingly, $2.3 million
yes.
he has loaned to the campaign. He released 4 years of taxes. He's worth several million dollars.
Yes.
He's a hedge fund manager. You actually said when we were chatting about this, you thought that it was not really that impressive in terms of a turnout.
Well, I thought the 1.1, I thought it was going to be higher. Clearly, he has a strong number. The question is what he does from here. In other words, for a general election race, since neither DiNapoli nor he has a primary, the number the numbers you're really looking for is where their cash on hand is in mid to late September, 1st of October. If this is his base and he raises more money, gives himself more money, and turns his cash flow from about 2.7 where it is now, cash on hand, into about 5 or 6 million, then it's more formidable. So I see this as he had a strong number, more heavily weighted to self-financing. Nothing wrong with that. The question is what he does with it. But now the challenge will be on Tom DiNapoli, who was at 1.3 million in his January 15th filing. Where is his number? Where is his cash on hand when the reports come out? And I have no idea where it is.
We don't know, but we've already heard that he has. He released a statement saying that he had been limiting his own individual contributions to $10,000.
Right.
Then, in the face of this potential self-funder, I mean, the real issue, probably, Dave, do you not think for Harry Wilson is that he's going to have to spend so much money just to get people to know him? Nobody knows who he is.
Well, I mean, Tom DiNapoli had the same problem, and he's the incumbent.
True.
So, from the point of view of, of Harry, I mean, I think that Harry might emerge and is likely to emerge as the best funded, the best positioned candidate on the Republican side today. And, I think that's with a lot of good reason. I think that Harry's reached out to a lot of people who are, new to this process and new to elected politics, and I think it's exciting that he's brought them in and that they're able to support him. And then I think as other Republicans and other independents and other Democrats around the state get to know him, I think he's going to do fantastic with fundraising, and I think he's off to a strong start, and he's very well positioned to be competitive and to win in November.
Though, the Democrats have hit him for being hedge fund Harry, right? He is a former hedge fund manager. Going through his filing, just sort of preliminarily, I see a lot of investment bankers, a lot of people, of course, I mean, people giving $20,000, people giving $34,700. I mean, the limit here, a lot of money. Don't you think that could make him weak, be a point to hit him on for the Democrats?
These are people that he's known throughout his professional career and done business with, and obviously, as I mentioned, he's bringing a lot of new people and a lot of new funding into the process. And no, I don't think it matters. I mean, the guy was tapped by President Obama to be on the task force to restructure the automobile task force. He's obviously valued for his own intellect, his own ideas, his own values, and I think that as voters get to know him, they're going to know he's an independent, guy who's perfect for the
Harry
controller's
Wilson
office.
must be a real leader if he can get Dave Catalfamo to say something nice about Barack Obama. So as a result of that, I'm going to take Harry Wilson a lot more seriously.
Wow. Okay, that's frightening. You heard it here first. Bruce Jory, open to voting Republican.
No, I said taking him serious.
That's what I heard too, Liz.
I thought that's what he said. I don't know. Call him
okay. I'll
Let's speak.
I'm glad it's a secret ballot. Yes, I'm sorry.
There was one more piece of political news that happened actually today, or I should say government news. It's twofold. Senator Moorhan passed away. Very sad. And Dave, actually, you were in the city for the funeral of Brad Race, a former